Here's a look at the components on the RAEV Bullet GTX e-bike. You can watch my other video to see a test drive on it, but in this video I want to just talk about exactly what you get. So first of all, it's a 6061 aluminum alloy frame, and the frame is really I think the high point of this bike. They've taken somebody from Honda Motors and hired them to design this thing. So it's super stout, super sturdy. You can see how good the welds are if you look at it up close. There's lugs on there that you can use to mount a luggage rack. And then on the top, you could also mount a tank bag if you wanted. Right there, there's a plate with screws in it that you can use. And you can also see what a good job they did on the paint as well as we're looking at this. It's a kind of a metal flake green. And then the rear swing arm is super stout. And you can see how it's mounted wide. So it's grabbing onto the outside of the frame rather than the inside of the frame if you compare it to the competition. You can see what I mean if you compare it to the similarly priced e-bike where it's just a little skinny thing with tabs versus having two big wide swing arms that far apart to give you that much more durability and stability. And then it's also super thick. So it's super thick aluminum, and if we go compare it to the competition in terms of thickness of that rear bracket that holds your rear wheel on, you can see that the RAEV bike is significantly thicker than this green bike is. So, more sturdy, more durable. That's a lot of that stuff you're not going to see if you just look at pictures on a website. The shock is decent. You have compression and rebound and lockout and spring tension that you can adjust on it. It is not for off-road. There's a sticker on it that says, do not use this thing for off-road. There's that sticker, the old don't do anything but ride it on the street sticker, but it works fine. If you want a better one, you can certainly upgrade. And you get hydraulic disc brakes that are RAEV branded, and the rotor is 180 millimeters, and the brakes have 4 pistons in them. So the stopping power is great on this thing, and you need it when you're doing 38 miles an hour. And those are double wall aluminum rims with black stainless steel 13 gauge spokes on them. And you can see super stout foot peg mounts for your rear passenger right there. And a single speed with a sort of a chain retainer on the back there for your drivetrain. And the controller brains are all in that box there where the bottom bracket is. So it's all neatly tucked away in there. And they did a good job of routing the wires so you don't get a whole heck of a lot of wires running around the bike. Wires come down the handlebar behind the headlight, and then they kind of tuck in underneath the batteries, or above and below the batteries. You can see all the wires kind of run through that channel in the frame and go down to the bottom bracket box. And then the only other wire that's obvious is also run through the frame right there that goes to your tail light. So it's pretty clean in terms of wires hanging around. Looks like a neat little motorcycle, and everything's tucked away. The batteries use Samsung 21700 cells, and it's a 52 volt 20 amp hour battery on the top and a 52 volt 8 amp hour battery on the bottom. The charger is UL listed, and you have to charge them separately. So you get one charger and you got to charge one at a time. The battery has a button on top that tells you whether or not it's dead. It's got 4 little green lights and then a red light that tell you just how alive it is. And the tires are V Tire Company E Huntsman tires. They're super beefy, so they're going to be a lot more puncture resistant than the BFTs that you get on a lot of cheaper e-bikes. So very happy with this motorcycle style tire. I think it's going to hold up well and last a long time. And then there's an air shock on the back. It's got a rebound valve and then a compression valve, so you can pump up the spring ratio and then also pump it down. You can see how sturdy the mounts are. That's what I'm trying to show here in this video. Just up top and on the bottom, it's really designed to take a beating, and we definitely beat it up in my test. The seat is 27.5 inches long, and it's sort of tapered at the back. They could have got a few more inches out of it for the passenger if they'd squared it off on the back, but they went for style on that one. And then it's fairly thin at the front. The padding in the middle is quite good. They really did a good job of making it super comfortable. So it's one of the most comfortable e-bike saddles I've ever sat on. Looks good too. And they say it's a 1,000-watt motor, but the label says 750 watts. So it will pass a visual inspection if you're in a state where 1,000-watt motors are illegal, which I think is most states. It is definitely labeled 750, but I'll show you how fast it goes. And then you also get these stickers you can stick on the bike along with it, so you can label it as being legal with these stickers as well. And it has a key disc controller, super basic controller that I think works great. I'm happy with it. A lot of people want to see giant color screens, but the thing does its job. It's also got a watt meter on it that we used to make sure that it actually does put out the power that they say it puts out. In this high-speed run, you can see that if you can read the watt meter, it's a little shaky, but it gets up over 1,700 watts, close to 2,000. So it's definitely cranking out the power and definitely gets you up close to 38 miles an hour when you're at full throttle on a flat surface. So I hope I've been helpful and given you a little bit more information to make an informed decision. I think it's a great bike out of the box, and I'm honestly not planning to make any changes to it at all. It just works great the way it is, goes fast enough. I'm happy with the fork. I'm not going to be doing any more stunts with it now that I'm done with the torture test. So if you want one, I've got a $100 off coupon code that you can use, and there's a link in the description. So thanks for watching, and I hope this answered all and any questions you have about this bike. There's also a lot of info on the website if you look at the specifications, if there's anything I missed. So thanks for watching. Comment, like, subscribe.